All right, there we go. We're recording. So
Nana boo boo.
the story of Mango is
Me.
I I don't remember this super clearly. Christian, your dad was talking about Mongo cold clocking a horse or
The horse.
whatever or a cow or whatever it was. And he somehow like compared Mongo to you because it's something that you did that was kind of cavemanish when we were laughing about it. And then at some point I was like, Mongo, more like mango, because you're a fruit. Because to a 13-year-old, that's really funny and makes a lot of sense. So and then it kind of stuck. Mango.
Oh, you came up with it?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And the reason that you see that on my part of the screen is because we have a joint Zoom account. So for the first name I put Toby, and then the last name I put Mango. So I had both our names on.
Does that mean
you're
married?
No.
Oh,
I was gonna say it's like you're the older couple that has they're both named Facebook. Yeah.
The joint accounts.
Yeah. That's sweet.
I like that. I guess when we start rolling in millions from this podcast, then we can have a joint checking account or banking account of some type, and that'll be very intimate.
Or we could just, give two different routing numbers and account numbers, and we split it the proportional amount,
Yeah, well, it's got to go to just one account, I think.
No.
Well, I don't really know for sure. We haven't made any money on this yet.
Why don't you just monetize these things?
We talked about this in one of the last podcasts.
I know, but
there's not a lot of incentive. Go ahead.
At least 10 cents.
I don't think you understand how making money from YouTube works.
I actually Googled it and I still don't. So.
Number one way is having ads on the video, and we get paid per view of the ad. But there's already not a lot of incentive to watch these videos, so I don't want to put a bunch of ads in there. And besides, you have to have like 1,000 views of the ad, make like something crazy. So you have to have a lot of views before it makes sense. So when we start having like thousands of views, then we can throw on some ads.
All right, you convinced me.
Maybe try to make a little cash. But anyway, Audrey, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome, Audrey.
Yeah, it's been good so far, just catching up a little bit.
Yeah, I think that was the longest we talked before actually starting the recording, because neither of you guys are ready because you don't take this podcast seriously. So
I had to eat dinner.
I'm just
yeah. Also, I didn't want two fireplace guys in my house as we were talking about the topics. So
we could have just put them on the podcast. Ask
them. They would have learned something. They definitely would have learned something, but
probably. Yeah. Well, Audrey, will you introduce yourself for our viewers and tell them who you are and what you do?
Yeah. So for the purpose of why I'm on the podcast today, or just in general?
Just in general. Both. Okay. Both ends.
Okay. So my name is Audrey Spikes. I am an occupational therapist. I more recently, like this year, started treating patients who have pelvic floor dysfunction. And so you could technically call me a pelvic floor therapist, but I'm not certified yet in it. Like there's a Herman and Wallace certification that I may look into if I really want to go this route, but I've already learned a lot. So, and it's helped a lot of my patients specifically. So I've really liked treating pelvic floor patients. But I kind of got into this route because I was treating lymphedema, and lymphedema is just like swelling that doesn't go away with elevation or exercise. And so it's progressive, and your swelling can get to a point where it's really, really heavy. And so we treat it with compression and manual lymphatic drainage. But those patients specifically were having pelvic floor issues. And so it just made sense to kind of go this route. So that's kind of where I am so far.
So how'd you get like the pelvic floor training? Are there like classes for that, or?
Coming out of OT school, there wasn't much that I could have told you about pelvic floor. They talk about it like in a few slides in OT school, like, hey, this is an emerging field and you can specialize in it. But that was pretty much all that we talked about in class at the time. But the training I got earlier this year in, I want to say it was April. Yeah, I think it was April. I went to a course. It was just over the weekend. So a 3-day course for internal assessment of pelvic floor muscles. So it basically helps to map out where the muscles are and if there's pain or discomfort in certain areas, most especially for women. So, but everyone has a pelvic floor. And so men and women, like, I think the statistic was 60% of adults over 65 have encountered incontinence. And so like I've had a lot of patients. Actually, my first patient was a male, and then everyone else pretty much has been women. So, but like most of my patients are either postpartum or incontinence related.
So you mentioned something about deliberate like lymphatic drainage, right?
Manual lymphatic drainage.
How do you do that? I've got a story.
Oh, really? Okay.
How do you do it?
It's like a 30 to 45 minute process, but you're basically rerouting lymphatic fluid, which is the waste fluid off of your body, and rerouting it to healthy lymph nodes. So like your major lymph areas are your cervical lymph nodes, your axillary, so like under your armpits, and then on the insides of your thighs, your inguinal lymph nodes. So like some people who have like really significant swelling in their legs, their inguinal lymph nodes aren't healthy, so we reroute them to axillary. And then it helps to push it like over the heart where that lymph fluid can go back into the system. But yeah, so the manual lymphatic drainage, I went to a whole course on that too, like a year ago, 2 years ago now. And then you're trained on like specific ways of how to do it. It's really, really cool.
Okay.
So how do you do it then? Is it based on like body movements, like, or is it like a massage type deal, or how do you get the fluid to move?
Right. So it's used with light touch. So it's technically not a massage.
Okay.
Like they are it not being a massage, but it's close to that. Like you would use your hands and fingers, normally starting at the neck, dependent on if there are like contraindications for that. So like if you had cardiac arrhythmia, if you were taking thyroid medication and some other things, you would avoid starting at the neck. But typically you start at the neck and work over your venous angles. So like behind your clavicle, if you walk it back, 2 fingers back and down towards your heart. And that's like the deepest movement that you do. It's just you've got to clear, what I've heard is you've got to clear where the wreck is before you can move traffic.
Makes sense.
So, but start at the neck and then you'd work under armpits, like circles. I've heard it described to me as like, it's like you would be touching a baby's head. That's how soft it is because your lymph vessels are really close to the surface of your skin.
Oh, I didn't know that. Interesting.
So I was thinking when you said drainage, I was thinking you just like stuck them and let them, like you do a cow or something.
Just cut them right open.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many people ask me if we can just do that, like to just suck the fluid. And it's like our skin's not like that. It's like a sponge. So if you just stick a needle in a sponge, you're not going to pull fluid out of that.
But you stick it a lot of times,
Yeah.
Eventually. So
So tell us your story.
Huh?
Tell us your story. You were gonna.
Oh yeah. So I was at a training rotation last year or so, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if memory serves, this is accurate. I had a case of cellulitis, just from being dirty and gross, and my left arm was like that big around. It was terrible. Like,
Yeah.
like I couldn't like bend my arm. It was like there was so much swelling. It was stuck like straight by my side. It was so gross because it was like the lymphatic fluid, right? I think that's what that is, right? Yeah. Was like just oozing out of my arm, and it was so gross. I had to sleep with my arm, like I put like a little light like knot around my wrist, and I could sleep with my arm tied up, so it would kind of like drain a little bit better.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't know why, but have you ever been in a tattoo shop?
No.
You familiar with how like, so it's like a bunch of little pin needle pricks?
Yeah.
Basically it will release a little bit of lymphatic fluid just because you're like, digging in the skin a little bit. And for like a week prior to antibiotics, I just smelled like a tattoo shop because I just had lymphatic fluid running down my arm.
Yeah.
Awful.
Wait, how long did you wait with that infection, Christian?
Look, I was in the middle of the woods. I couldn't do anything. They just gave me antibiotics and said, go blank yourself,
Oh no.
I can't believe you never told me this story. That sounds rough, man.
Well, you never asked.
I don't know to ask. Hey, man, have you had cellulitis recently?
It was honestly kind of funny to look at. I don't have the picture, but one of my buddies took a picture of me. I just had like my undershirt on.
Yeah.
And I wasn't facing the camera, and like my right arm looked normal, like a normal guy's arm. My left arm was just like a bodybuilder's arm. It was ridiculous. It was so gross.
Yeah, that can actually, so a lot of people come in who've had a history of cellulitis that are patients. And if your arm swells that much, and it can actually damage your lymph vessels because they're really small, but like your arm's back to normal, right?
Oh yeah, after like 4 days or something like that on antibiotics, I was fine.
That's one of the contraindications for manual lymphatic drainage is having an active infection. So,
well, I sort of did that. I just like, kind of noosed my wrist and just kind of like rubbed it a bit and like hope for the best. But it was so gross. Like it looked like I was looking at a dead guy's arm. Like dead people like sometimes will like bloat up a little bit. It looked like that. It was so gross. It was strange.
Yeah, I see that quite a bit. But
anyway, that's my story about the lymphatic system. Toby,
I didn't know that happened to you either.
Yeah, it happens. Especially when you're dirty and you get little cuts and stuff and infections. That'll happen.
Yeah, so this isn't the reason I came on the podcast, but it's gives me an opportunity to say this too. Is like anytime that you're, like you said, where you're super dry and your skin's cracking, it can actually open up, ways for bacteria to get under your skin. And so like one thing we really harp on is putting lotion on every day to keep your skin moist, because otherwise like bacteria can cause some cellulitis.
It was terrible. I think I have like some stretch marks on my arm from how bulbous it got.
Yeah.
That's wild, man.
Yeah, good times. I got to sit around. They kind of cleared me from training for a little bit. So I just basically turned into a camping guy. So that was nice. I didn't really have to do any training for the last like couple days. So that was cool.
No doubt.
Toby, what are you drinking? As if we don't already know.
You already know what it is, man. My favorite, Smirnoff Ice.
Big Smirnoff guy.
Classic. I love it, man. I do. It's one of my favorite drinks. It's my go-to now.
It's disgusting, but all right. Good for you, man.
I like what I like. Audrey, you drinking anything tonight?
Yeah. One of the beers that was just left at our house, Cosmic Crown. It's pretty good.
I wish people would just leave beer at my house. That's great.
What type of beer is that?
It's a Golden Ale, Belgian.
Okay.
Nice.
Interesting.
It's kind of stronger. It's 9. Is it 9?
Ooh, that'll get you there quick.
That's stout.
So it's good.
Good.
Nice. All right,
Mhm.
Audrey, I want to know what you think about my food and poop report.
Okay.
Sent you.
Can you pull it up on the screen?
Oh no, I mean, theoretically, actually, when I was first filling it out, I was like, oh, this is perfect. I need to download a copy and then pull it up, but I don't have a copy saved on my computer. So
Yeah, that's okay. If you could email it to me, I'll pull it up. But you don't have to.
yeah, I really don't want to. I just have pictures of it on my phone.
One of the major two things that I noticed was, number one, that you're hardly drinking any water.
I drink 2 to 3 liters of water a day.
I didn't see that.
It was on there. You just
I did.
Okay.
I saw it.
Well,
I saw.
let's back up first. For those that are listening, Audrey sent Christian and I a what's this thing called?
It's a bowel and bladder log.
Yeah, so I recorded what I was eating and drinking at what time, and then my pooping schedule and how much I was peeing and stuff like that.
And then what you were eating, like fiber intake. So
Yeah.
that's-
Yeah.
Can I look at it again, or like if I look on my phone, will it stay up?
I don't know.
You
Just don't click the end button and you can probably look at it.
know? Okay.
Do it.
Can you still see me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, cool. So I can go back and look because I can't remember
Okay.
the top of my head.
Toby, I think you drink enough water, man.
Well, I know I drink enough water because I look at the color of my urine, and that's
Okay, I see that now. I noticed that you drank a lot right before. Well, when do you normally go to bed?
like 9 or 10. I do drink a lot. It's because I have a habit of drinking a lot, like as I'm eating. I just like to drink a lot of water when I'm eating. And then I was telling you about the greens powder that I do. So I mix that in with like 12 ounces or half of like my 1 liter water bottle that I use. And so I'll just drink that real quick. So that's part of the reason why I drink so much late at night. And then I also pee like every hour for a few hours.
I see that.
Yeah.
Is it because you're drinking all that water?
I assume so.
Do you go to the bathroom at night? Like, do you wake up from sleep?
Not often, like every now and then, but it's pretty rare.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was the only thing I wanted to ask, was if you were waking up from sleep and just not writing it, or if you're not.
Nope. Like every now and then I will, but like I said, it's pretty rare. I don't think I did during that 3-day period because I think I got up at 5, right about 5 every day. And I think that was my first pee that I logged.
Someone's got to convert liters to ounces for me.
Yeah, so I normally use a 1 liter water bottle, but then I also have some mason jars that I drink out of, and they just have like the fluid ounces. So that's why I have the different amounts there.
How many ounces is in a half liter?
I think it's about 13 or 14 ounces.
16.907.
Okay.
You say 15.9?
16.
16? Okay.
16.9 times 4. So yeah, you're right within the range of 48 to 64 ounces is what's recommended.
Boom. Water.
Hell,
Killing.
I drink
Yeah. I had someone once who didn't come in for pelvic floor. They came in for something else, and they were like, yeah, I'm having leakage like several times a day. And I started out with, okay, so how much water are you drinking? And she said, oh yeah, like a gallon of water a day. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, are you working out? Are you exercising? She was like, no, I'm not really. And I was like, that's probably your problem. And she was just drinking way too much.
There's a lot of people like that in the Army. Like they carry around the gallon jugs.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, I got to drink all this water. And it's like, how much are you working out? Because, some people do like hot yoga or they work out with a lot of clothes on because they like how it feels when they sweat a bunch. And they're like, oh, like, I just like do a light workout a few times a week. And it's like, I don't think you should be, I'm not a doctor. I don't think you should drink a gallon of water a day when it's the winter. And it's a humid environment and you're not working out. But what do I know? They're like, no, it's healthy. It's healthy to drink this much. All right.
Well, I don't know if y'all knew this, but your bladder can only hold about 2 cups of urine at a time.
Really?
So,
that's it?
Yeah. So like the walls of
That's
your
not
bladder,
I can fill up 2 cups for sure.
for sure.
Like on a big pee. Maybe even 3, probably.
Not a
Well,
competition, Grayson.
I'm just being sincere.
Well, it can actually put a lot of pressure on your pelvic floor muscles too,
All right.
which is what causes like leakage and stuff. There's 2 different forms of incontinence, really. There's stress incontinence, which is what most of like the guys who do the really heavy lifting and never work on like stretching or relaxation or any of that stuff. So there's stress incontinence, which is like involuntary loss of urine with physical exertion. So it could be like coughing, sneezing, lifting. And then there's incontinence that occurs where it's just involuntary loss of urine, but there's just like a sudden urge. So it's urge incontinence. And sometimes you can have a mix of both. But one, typically, like your pelvic floor is so tight that that's what's causing the leakage versus the other where your pelvic floor is super weak. And so you can't like hold leakage then.
Interesting.
In either way, like you have weak or tight and you can have similar symptoms. Normally when it's tight, it's painful.
Like it's painful to go to the bathroom or just like your pelvic area, it hurts in general.
Right.
Both of those or?
Okay. It can be.
Okay, well, I'm probably.
What else did you glean from my stuff? I meant to send it to you earlier. I meant to not wait until today. So sorry about that.
That's okay. I didn't get the chance to look up fiber wise what you're getting. You look like you're having like your bowels are running smoothly because typically like constipation wise, what they use to diagnose that is number one, if you have fewer than let me see, I wrote down my notes.
I will say when I started doing this log, around that same time, I switched like a mostly paleo style diet because I'm just trying out to see how I feel. So I've actually been eating more meat because of that and more whole foods, which I'm sure you noticed on my food log, but I'm probably eating a little bit less vegetables right now because I used to eat a lot of leafy greens, but I just haven't been as much lately. Mostly kind of just, I got tired of them, but anyway, I don't know where I was going with that, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the typical time you would, what's normal for bladder function is going to the bathroom every 2 to 4 hours. So you were hitting that mark on all of them. You weren't going except for at night where you were drinking a lot of water and before bed. And sometimes like if you were having to wake up and go to the bathroom during the night, then that's when we would say, yeah, you should probably stop drinking up to 2 hours before you go to bed.
Okay. Yeah. So I noticed in Kuwait, that I was peeing like all the time, but I was still thirsty. And I assumed because I was thirsty that I needed more water, but then my urine would be almost like completely clear. And it's like, well, this is weird. Like I must be drinking too much water. So then I started taking an electrolyte supplement, but then I was doing like crazy amounts. So it's like, I don't know if this is good, like long term to like have so much added electrolytes to my diet, but it did help somewhat. And then I just kind of like started drinking less water and I felt better overall. Cause it's like super annoying to have to go to the bathroom every hour. It's not a big of a deal when it's like just at night, like after I'm home from work, but when you're working and you got to go pee every hour, it's not super convenient.
Yeah, it's also not good to train your bladder to do that. So like you can train your bladder to function like muscle memory. So like what will happen if you do, like for instance, a lot of people before they go to Walmart or before they go out, they'll just pee because it's convenient. And you can train your bladder to have to go more regularly, and almost to a point where it's just like overactive.
Okay.
So even with pelvic floor therapy, it's not just about the muscle, it's also the connection with the muscle through the brain, because whenever smooth muscle contracts, it relaxes. And so like you can have that overactive contraction of the bladder because it's made of smooth muscle. And the way that you retrain the bladder is if you do have like that urge to for that smooth muscle to contract, you can actually do pelvic floor contractions like Kegels to offset that. So it's called the knack, which basically means like, for instance, if there was a sudden urge to go, but that person knows they're not actually full, and they don't actually have to go to the bathroom, you do like 5 pelvic floor contractions and then distraction, relaxation, so that you're not rushing to the bathroom. So.
Interesting. So I used to have this thing. It's been a few years since this has happened, but every now and then when I would drink a lot, and it only happened when I drank a bunch, and I don't drink as much anymore. It's probably part of the reason why it doesn't happen. But anyway, I would drink a bunch, sometimes like you break the seal, like especially if you're drinking like beer, and then it's like you pee like constantly, it seems like after you go to the bathroom the first time, where I would have this happen where I would be laying in bed and like every 10 minutes I would feel like I would have to pee. But then after doing that a few times, I wouldn't have to pee and I'd feel like I have to pee and I wouldn't be able to pee. And it was actually kind of painful, but it was super annoying. And it would happen for like a few hours at a time and I wouldn't be able to sleep because of it, which was terrible. But I was also drinking a lot of alcohol when that happened. So a lot of alcohol. So do you think that was a pelvic floor issue in conjunction with obviously drinking too much alcohol? Because I was definitely drinking more than I needed to.
Were you drinking water at that time too, or no? Were you like overworking out, or
were you was like my diet, I was regularly hydrated. Yes. I wouldn't necessarily drink a lot of water while I was drinking because I knew I was going to have to pee a lot anyway. But like in general, I was already hydrated going into that.
Were you running out?
What's that?
Were you running a lot or working out?
I was working out every day, not like super hard workouts or anything, but I was working out 5 times a week.
Okay. I mean, it could have been tight pelvic floor.
Yeah. That was miserable, I'll be honest.
Yeah. I mean, like if you were a patient walking in the door and you explained that, then I would work on down training, like deep breathing. So like whenever you deep breathe, it should be when you inhale, your belly comes out. And when you exhale, belly goes back in. So you kind of create that space where you're getting more oxygen to your lungs. And it like that itself is really helpful for relaxation because everybody doesn't ever breathe like deeply. Everyone's so shallow of a breather that like people are so tight around abdominals that it's super hard to even get them relaxed here. So we got to start there because pelvic floor is the bottom of your abdominal wall.
Okay.
So deep breathing is like number one exercise that I would do.
Huh. Interesting.
You know, I've actually had some friends who, I guess this was related to that, who were having like issues with like cardiovascular exercises or like running or jogging, or whatever. And a physical therapist would tell them to like stretch their abs, like to do like the yoga poses or whatever to do it. And sure enough, it helped them like breathe like deeper and like better. I thought that was pretty cool.
Mhm.
Now I do the old, what is it? Is it the downward dog? I don't know. It's some weird dumb yoga pose with a stupid name, but it stretches out the abs pretty good.
Yeah, that is one. We do like the for pelvic floor specifically, there's I normally do stretch hamstrings, piriformis, like all of your hip extensors or flexors. Sometimes those can be tight. In addition to like could be abdominals, it could be your lower back even. So it's not always just about pelvic floor and doing Kegels, and a lot of people just think it's that. But there's one called like Happy Baby. I don't know if you've ever seen that one, Christian.
Yeah, that's a funny one.
Yeah, you're basically like on your back and then your feet are up and then you like hold onto your feet. Like a
Sometimes I
baby.
do that one for fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Happy Baby. Haven't heard of that one.
Really?
That was a
Really?
good one
All right.
I don't
But I
do a
would
lot of
start with-
yoga.
for sure.
All right, no other insights. I thought you were gonna have like scathing reviews of my eating and drinking habits.
No, Tom, you're pretty normal, man.
Ugh, I hate that. I don't want to be
I mean-
normal.
Those 3 days looked pretty good, except for like I would probably cut out drinking so much at night.
Yeah, and I've was thinking about that a little bit just because I'm aware of how much I pee at night. And then when I wrote it down, I was like, I'm drinking like 2/3 of my fluids sometimes in like the last 5 hours I'm awake. So that's probably not a good idea. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's just a habit. I think I just like the feeling of like drinking water while I'm eating. I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's just a habitual thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you could limit like how much you're drinking in one sip and just get you a cup with a straw in it and just sip on it throughout the day, that would be so much better.
Well, that's what I normally do. I mean, I bring a water bottle with me to work. Like I said, I've got like a 1 liter water bottle that I bring with me, and I kind of sip that throughout the day. So when I put like half a liter or like 12 ounces or 14 ounces, I wrote that down whenever I like finished.
When you finished it, yeah.
Whenever I finished it.
I mean, I
Um,
don't have any like I don't see any red flags there. That's just like the only thing maybe I would change.
yeah, no, that makes sense. That
And
makes
then
sense.
the coffee is a bladder irritant. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just be like, yeah, you can't have any more coffee. But that's kind of one thing that if it was causing issues, maybe like later on, then I would probably cut back on how much coffee.
Yeah, I did drink a lot of coffee over these days.
But some people are like, no, I have to have 2 cups in the morning. Like, well, what if you tried 1.5? You know,
How about
if
no?
your problems, you know.
I don't even like drink coffee because it gives me a boost anymore, to be honest. I drink it because like I'm bored at work and I need another layer of stimulation, especially after I stopped using tobacco. I need like another layer of stimulation to keep me focused at work, if that makes sense.
How long have you been clean from tobacco?
What is December? I quit. It's been like 6 to 8 weeks. It's been a while.
Sweet.
Clap, Audrey.
Thank you. It's been tough.
Will, if you can hear me, clap.
Please clap.
Quitting tobacco that was very difficult. And for a long time too, I thought about it. Even if I didn't have like withdrawals, I still thought about it every single day. And it's like, hot damn, throwing in a dip right now would be great. But I still think about it every now and then, but I'll go like a few days without thinking about tobacco. And then I'll think about it and I'll be like, wow, I haven't thought about this in a few days. That's great. So I'm out of the woods, I think.
Toby, I caught myself slipping the other day on energy drinks.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. We were in the field for a little bit last week after last or something like that. And I needed something that was more portable than coffee and had more punch because I wasn't sleeping much.
Yeah.
Naturally, I got some energy drinks, and then I noticed myself getting like more dependent on them.
Yeah.
That's not good. So I just stopped. So
Wow.
yeah.
Takes a lot of like mental strength.
Christian, you're fucking hard, man. Like I noticed that my body was addicted.
Oh no.
I just quit cold turkey. Christian, Audrey, Christian quit tobacco without telling me. Like I found out months later, I feel like. And when I was going through quitting, like I was talking to multiple people about it. I was like, oh, this is so difficult. Look at me. I needed so much attention. And Christian's like, I just stopped.
I just don't have addictive tendencies, I guess.
Dude, that's crazy. Good for you, man.
I do on some things though. Like I gotta have coffee and then like what else?
So speaking on that, I have two things. One, I drink about one energy drink a week to like treat myself. But one of my favorites now is Kill Cliff. It only has 25 milligrams of caffeine, which is cool. It's mostly a bunch of vitamins, but I like the flavors because there's a what is it? It's like lime and something, but it's real tart and it has like a bite. So again, like I kind of like just I don't know, like I like drinking coffee because it's so bitter. So it's just like a strong sensation and that kind of like engages me and helps me be focused and be awake in addition to the caffeine. So anyway, Kill Cliff is good. Also, I bought some cacao powder, which is the same stuff that chocolate is made from, which has a stimulant. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but instead of caffeine, it has theobromine.
Yeah.
It's just a different type of stimulant. It works more on, I think, muscles rather than the central nervous system like caffeine does. So it's less likely to make you jittery. And it's supposed to give you like less of a boost, but like more sustains over time. Anyway, I just got that in the mail yesterday, so I'm going to try it out and I'll let you know how it is. But it comes in like a ground up powder, just like coffee beans. So you brew it like the same way you do coffee. So I'm interested in trying that out. What's up?
You haven't tasted it yet?
I haven't tried it yet.
Right.
Yeah, I'll probably try some tomorrow. I'll let you know.
Did you look up some peer-reviewed articles about that, or?
I looked up a bunch. I looked up a bunch of stuff about it. Yeah, I didn't read like scientific papers, but I read a bunch of different reviews and articles that were like about papers. But it's supposed to be a healthier alternative to caffeine because it's a stimulant, but it's not like as aggressive of a stimulant as caffeine is.
Interesting.
But I mean, caffeine's relatively. It's not that bad for you.
Did you grow
compared to all the drugs? What's up?
Do you like harvest or grow your own cacao plants?
You could, but it's a tropical plant.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, and it comes from a tree, so it's going to take you probably a few years to grow the tree. So similar to like you would have like fruit orchards with like peaches and apples or citrus plants. So it's a longer term thing, and they probably don't do well in frost. So you'd want to have it in a place where you don't get frost very often.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It looks interesting though. Looks interesting. I kind of get bored of coffee, so that's part of the reason why I did it.
How do you have your coffee? How do you make it?
I just make it black.
No, like what do you use to make it?
Just a coffee maker?
Oh, yeah. At the office, we have a regular coffee maker. At my house, I have a pour over kit.
Okay. I was going to say that if you haven't used a pour over, you need to, because that is my favorite way to make a cup of coffee.
Same.
Yeah.
I love it. It's like something about the process that's so relaxing.
Yeah,
And
I
like
love
you
the process.
smell the coffee so much as you're doing it. Actually, Morgan Waits turned me on to that because she sent me some pour over coffee kits when I was in Kuwait. And it was like it would have like a little pack of coffee in this paper thing that would fold out and you would put it was made to be put over a coffee mug. So
Yeah.
you just put hot water over it as this thing would sit on top of your coffee mug. And it also had like some lavender stuff in there. So yeah, just like the process of making pour over coffee, it's just like so relaxing. So
Agreed.
yeah. Yeah. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the pour over style for sure.
I didn't know if you were just stuck in the old coffee pot ways.
I mean, it's good at the office when like
I mean, yeah, it's
you
quick.
just want to crank out a bunch of coffee because like you got 20 ornery people that need their caffeine.
Sir, did you say horny?
Ornery?
Oh.
They're probably horny too, but
I was gonna say you got some other problems.
it's a weird substitute. I don't know if that's medically relevant.
I don't know if that's gonna help at all.
Sick.
Oh, can we talk about squatty potties?
Absolutely, we can.
Face was like,
What is a squatty potty?
highly recommend a squatty potty. Will go get her squatty potty so we can show them.
I've done that in the woods.
No, okay,
Is that
so
what we're talking
hovering's different.
Oh,
Okay.
all right.
So hovering is turning on the opposite muscles you want to work.
What if you're doing a relaxed squat and you're able to poop from
Yeah.
a deep squat
I
where
love to
you're
hold
just
on to a
relaxed?
tree and lean back. Oh, those things. Yeah, those things are cool.
Here, I'm gonna go get mine to show you, Audrey. I meant to send you a picture of it a while ago. I have one too.
Yeah, there's 2 layers of floor muscles. Maybe I should wait till Toby gets back. But
My puppy is assaulting me.
what's your puppy's name?
Theo.
Theo?
Yeah,
Aw.
Theodore. You big goober. Surprised Toby wasn't prepared.
I know.
Figured he'd have that on hand.
What'd you say about me?
So you were very ill prepared for this.
Here's mine. It's bamboo wood. Look at that.
Yeah.
Super
I would-
fancy.
Like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just hold on to my knees and
Well,
gotta get
so
the effect.
so it puts you in a good position because like with most standard toilets, like we talk about muscles where with the pelvic floor there's 2 layers. So like the bottom layer is your sphincter muscles and then the second layer is your stabilizers. So like stabilizers of the hip and helping support the organs like the bladder and the uterus or whatever. So anyways, so whenever you're hovering, you're actually turning on, so you're closing up your sphincters and relaxing stabilizers versus the opposite, which is what we want. So yeah, so don't ever hover over the toilet. Otherwise you're retraining your muscles to do something you don't want them to do.
Yeah, I don't do that. I just plop right down.
Well, you'd be surprised how many people are like, I can't touch the toilet seat.
Well, that's a big thing with women, like public bathrooms. They're worried about touching it.
Worst that can happen, you know?
Probably like you get staph. That's probably the worst
Like-
thing.
That doesn't happen.
It could theoretically.
Theoretically, that would take a lot of effort for that to happen.
All right, so let me set up the scenario then, show you how easy.
While you're setting
it
that
is.
up, I'm gonna get a refill.
All right, go for it. So you have a fancy belt that has a bunch of like sparkly metal things. As you're pulling down your pants, you accidentally nick your butt cheek on one side. So you have a small cut. Staff happens to be on the toilet seat. I'm not going to go through this scenario for how that might be there. You sit down and that little cut on your butt cheek just plops right on.
You would still sit down if you got a cut?
But I mean, it could be small. It could be small. I'm not saying like you slice open your butt cheek, but like you just have like a small cut. I think bacteria could probably still enter in through it.
Yeah, you'd still know though. You'd still know if you got a cut, right?
You might not think about it. It's like you're pulling your pants down. It's like, oh, that hurt. And then you sit down.
I don't know. I feel like I would, if I got a cut on my butt, I don't think that would feel very good. I'd probably stop what I was doing and try to assess.
I guess I'm just not that type of person because I have like little stuff that happens and I'm like, oh, that kind of hurt. And then I don't really think about it.
Well, yeah. I mean, like you can layer the toilet seat with paper towels or whatever.
Yeah.
That like they even make the
I do.
bowl.
Yeah. Little covers. Yeah.
So.
Interesting. No, I think it's extremely unlikely you're going to pick up anything from a toilet seat, but theoretically.
I mean, I guess if you cut your butt while you're sitting, maybe that could happen.
Yeah. And then it's, antibiotics resistant staph. It's just going to eat a hole right in your butt cheek.
MRSA, baby.
Ooh.
MRSA. That's it.
Yep, I know.
Look out.
Yeah. Anyway, Christian, you should get a squatty potty because the way that it sets you up too is.
What if I just hold my knee like that? Kind of does the same thing.
Your on the toilet seat. I mean,
No. I'll just hold them.
Because then you're tense. Your muscles are tense because you're trying to remain in that position.
No.
So automatically your core is going to be tense because you're trying to stay in the same spot.
I disagree.
Yeah.
Well, you can disagree, but you're fucking wrong. So.
Oh,
That's pelvic floor dysfunction right there.
Nah.
I actually can't even use my little pooping stool because the toilets in my house are very old. So they're just like super, super small. But like I can for sure feel a difference like when I'm pooping on the toilet here and when I'm pooping on the toilet at my office, which is like a big normal American toilet. Like I can feel it's like the position that you're at, like I'm much more relaxed being lower, closer to the grounds on the toilet that I have at my house compared to the one at the office. So yeah. But if I ever have any short people over, they can use the stool.
Yeah, the way you're typically positioned with I'm going to try to use my hands as an example. With a standard toilet is that like you can actually, your pelvic floor muscles can kink like your large intestine the way that you're sitting. But if you go into like a more of knees bent, leaning forward on your thighs, like you can get that relaxation where you're more in line and you can actually like you're more lined up to be able to relax pelvic floor. So things are easily evacuated versus having to strain.
Yeah. I feel like whenever I'm at a public restroom and I'm peeing next to some dude, that guys like they push so hard when they pee. When like you ever like Christian, you ever like pee at a gas station, you're at the urinal and the guy next to you is like his hands up on the wall and he's like, it's like, bro, why are you pushing so hard when you're peeing? Like that can't be good for you. But it's like a incredible experience for them every time they pee. I guess I don't know.
It's a dominance thing. They got to be the loudest guy. Yeah.
It's probably not good. Probably not good for you.
Yeah, that would probably result in stress incontinence. Time anyway. You're tensing up every time.
Yeah. The hand on the wall is what cracks me up. Have you ever seen that, Christian?
I've done that when I was drunk. I needed to like hold myself up. All right.
No,
not because I was straining. It was because I was just an idiot.
That's funny. It's just Audrey. It's hilarious. You're just sitting over the urinal and the guy's like, he's like leaning on the wall for support.
No. He needed a squatty potty.
Well, I mean, he was peeing, so I don't know if the squatty potty
stand up one day.
Well, okay, yeah. I didn't know that he was.
I guess we don't have to. We could sit.
You could sit. I mean, I just feel like it's more convenient to stand.
Yeah, who came up with standing while peeing?
I agree, but like
I think it's more natural for men.
It's a convenience issue.
It's quicker, you don't have to pull your pants down.
Got to be able to go if you need to.
Yeah, you just You just go. You just whip it out. Good to
Look
go.
out and get after it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Must be nice.
It is. It's true. Yeah, it's very nice.
I'm not mad about it at all.
They actually, Audrey, they actually make this this thing. I don't know if it was
Oh, I know. Yeah.
it's do you know what I'm about to say? It's like a little cup thing for women so that they don't have to, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I would have had that. Like we would have had that whenever my parents would like stop off the side of the road.
Yeah.
When us kids had to go to the bathroom really quick. They're
Yeah.
like, oh no, there's not like a stop because we're in the middle of Mississippi. Like
Yeah.
we gotta pull over.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of women in the army that use that because sometimes you're in the field and it's not super convenient. So
Right.
they just use that little cup thing and yeah.
Yeah, I've seen them or I've heard of them.
You talking about the little things that look like a little elephant trunk with a little head and a
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Like it's kind of like a cup that goes over your lady parts and then it's got a little tube going out. So it's almost like you got a penis. So you don't have to like squat all the way.
Mm.
Makes it a little more convenient.
Conveniency.
Yeah. I remember the first time I heard about those, somebody was talking about them to actually, I think this is when I was a cadet. Someone was talking about them and explaining it to female soldiers. And the guy was trying to be like helpful. And he's like, yeah, like it's real convenient, it just like lets you pee faster, like if you're out in the woods. And like the women were like super offended by it for some reason. So like, are you messing with us right now? And he's like, no, like I'm being honest. Like this is the thing a lot of people have, like it'll help you out, like it'll just make it quicker for you to pee. Like anyway, they were like super weirded out that he brought this up. And this poor guy he just didn't have good social skills and he was just trying to be nice. It was funny. It was really awkward, but it was funny.
I bet they all learned.
Oh, they learned. I don't know. Seems like a great invention to me.
Boy, this has been an interesting episode.
We haven't even talked about hardly any of the stuff that I wrote down I wanted to talk about.
Just a bunch of bowel movements and
This is great. This is a good one. It's a good one for sure. But we kind of touched on it, but I want to address it more directly. Audrey, we need to talk about all of our poops and how they've been recently. So let's start with you since you're our guest. How have your poops been recently?
I definitely been lacking on the fiber part of my diet, so not great to be honest. The squatty potty helps.
Yeah.
It helps to know what helps, like since I've been learning about pelvic floor, like I know how to help myself a little bit better than like just trying to strain whenever like you feel constipated and stuff. That was one thing I kind of wanted to talk about eventually was the abdominal massage, like with constipation and how to help things move. But anyways, my answer is not good lately.
That's tough. Pooping's important. Oh, I remember I was kind of rambling earlier about how my diet changes around when I started doing this log last week. The reason why I brought that up, so when I made that switch, I've been eating more meat recently, and I'm also trying out like the seasonal eating thing. So you try to mirror more what like hunter-gatherers would have eaten in the season that you're in. So right now, like early winter, probably would have eaten more like tuber type vegetables rather than leafy greens and more meats and stuff. So anyway, I've been eating probably like twice as much meat as I normally would actually, but my poops have been way better, which was an interesting side effect. I've been pooping close to twice a day. And I've been pooping easier, I think. Like I've never been out, like I know people that they're like, oh, like I'm about to go on a trip, like let me go take a poop real quick, empty out the tank. I've never been that type of person. Like I have to have the urge to poop to be able to poop. But since I started eating more meat, like I'm able to poop more on command and poop more regularly, which has been convenient and interesting. So anyway, they've been good. They've been good lately. So
at that point, it's more common for women to be constipated.
I definitely do get constipated periodically. but we've talked about that plenty in the past, probably more than our viewers want to listen to. Christian, how have your poops been?
Well, like I mentioned in the text message, I'm a very boring patient, which is a good thing.
Hey, Kobe.
I have had no problems at all. My diet is pretty much the same. Everything else to follow the diet is the same. I'm sorry. I wish I was more exciting, but I'm you know.
Christian, no one can say whether or not you're exciting because you reveal zero info about like
Right.
what your diet is. It's like, yeah, I'm just eating the same normal stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, no, I don't know.
Well, I wrote it down. I was gonna send it.
You need to send it.
Well, whenever we were talking about Toby's, did you see anything that had been happening lately that you were like, huh?
Me?
Yeah.
Nah.
Everything.
Hang on, let me see. So I caught up today. So let me see if I can send this in the chat somehow.
Do you have any changes you'd like to make? I know, like you and I both, Christian, we spend a lot of time thinking about what we eat. So I know you pay a lot of attention, and I know you do a good job of it, just because you're pretty aware of it. But do you have any like diet changes you'd like to make?
Dude, I just want to eat more meat and more vegetables and more fruit, man.
Yeah, you do.
You know,
Since I've been on this little paleo,
sometimes I feel like I don't eat enough meat, just to fulfill like the protein requirements and the the vitamins that come along with like a good lean meat.
yeah.
All right, I just sent it.
You should eat all meat, Liver King style, carnivore diet.
Dude, that guy's such a moron.
He came out and said he admitted that he does steroids and takes HGH and stuff. So, are you aware of this, Audrey? Do you know what we're talking about?
Who is this?
It's this guy. I think he got popular on TikTok, but he's on a lot of platforms. He's called Liver King. He says that he eats like raw liver, and he's on like the 100% carnivore diet. So he only eats meats, which has been something that's like growing in popularity lately.
Mm-hmm.
But he is ripped, like super, super muscular, super fit, and super lean. And for like years, people have been asking him, like, do you take like steroids or human growth hormones? And for years he said like, no, like I don't do any of that. And then recently he came out and he's like, okay, like, I'll be honest, I lied. But
I lied.
yeah, but still, I mean, like you don't just like shoot steroids or human growth hormone and get that big. Obviously he works really hard for it, but his big thing is he eats a lot of organ meats in particular because they have a higher nutrient density for like the trace minerals that our body needs compared to other meats. But anyway, yeah, Liver King. Christian's a big fan.
I am not. I just called the guy a moron.
I mean, I don't believe him. I don't believe him that he eats like raw liver all the time. So I think that would.
No. I mean, you probably couldn't sustain life on just liver or just meat. You know.
Well, there's a lot of people that only eat meat. If you eat,
maybe, yeah, but maybe not for long. You know what I mean? I'm talking like long term, like living, right? You got to think blood pressure is going to go up. Risk of heart disease could go up if you're not eating the lean stuff.
So the average,
a lot of vitamins. But I don't know. I don't know a lot about it. I just
the average person, you're probably correct. Long term, it would be bad. But like, I mean, there are people. There's got to be a genetic component that makes it possible. Because think about like the Inuits. Their diet is exclusively animals, like 99% animals, because they can't grow like grains or vegetables or stuff. So they eat animals and they eat the fat, then they also eat all the organs too. So they get more diverse nutrients because they're eating more parts of the animal compared to like, us in the West now, we just eat like the nicer parts of the meat that we like. So some people can do it, but probably not everyone. You're right.
Now we're at the point where we're scared of meat because it hurts the animals or something.
Hey, listen.
Yeah.
You gotta eat meat.
You gotta eat meat. We didn't develop that quickly as a species, just eating leaves, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, well, just like the Inuits eat like 98% animals and 2% other stuff. I think there's people like in particular in parts of India, there's been people that, traditionally like for thousands, maybe tens of thousands of years eat almost exclusively plants. Like they've been vegan for a very long time over there. So their bodies have adapted. So just like the Inuits eat like 98% meat, like people that have that genetic background are probably fine to eat no animal products,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not an expert. What do you think, Audrey?
Say that again. Like not eating any animal products.
I just said a bunch of stuff. So
I was looking at how much fiber y'all are getting. So.
I was just talking about how, I don't know. I just said a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, a bunch of jibber jabber.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no, I can see your face. I can't see your screen.
That'd be impossible. We'd have to be behind you.
I can see that you've been looking at stuff though, because your screen, from what I see, is like flickering on and off.
Yeah. So I was gonna say that the fiber intake, like typical average would be 25 to 35 grams a day. And
What's optimal though for
35. I mean, you should at least get 25, but most people don't get that. I was looking at Christians because I had to go to Google to do the math of like how many ounces
yeah.
would
Those
count.
are all just rough guesses. I don't actually weigh my food. I'm not a weirdo.
I actually, it's funny you say that. I actually bought a food scale recently because I remember talking with Audrey about this diet stuff. And I was like, this is crazy. Like the only way you could actually do this right is if you had a food scale and weighed your stuff. And then like, it was like a light bulb, like, oh, like, well, maybe I should just buy a food scale if like I really care about this. And I really want to like track this stuff the right way. So I did. I bought a little food scale. I just got it yesterday.
You don't need that.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to use it right now, but if I ever start paying real close attention to my diet, then I'll have it to use. It was like $10. It was pretty cheap. So, I mean, I think it's worth it. I don't know if you really want to track your diet, like whether you're looking at macronutrients or micronutrients, I think you got to have a food scale to really track that and know it. But
Well, if y'all want to have like a competition of who is getting better fiber, it was Toby.
I mean, I already knew that.
Yeah.
Because I saw Christians was like 5 grams is what at least you wrote, Christian. I don't know if that's like everything you had, but
No.
you're getting about 5 grams out of what you wrote.
My poops say otherwise.
Your body can adjust to different things. Christian also takes the same greens powder that I do. So that's why I don't think that was much. That was like 2 or 3 grams of fiber per serving. So that's a little extra some.
Right. You're still not getting enough, Toby. I'm just saying that yours was better.
I would like to have more for sure.
But the potatoes surprised me because those are like 4 point something grams, which is quite a bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
For a medium-sized potato, it's 4 point, I think 3.
Okay.
So you got about 16 grams.
Okay.
Do y'all like some of the different fiber stuff? I can send you a whole list of foods that have more fiber in them if y'all want me to.
If it's like whole foods, I would be interested in that. I don't eat any grains anymore. I cut that out and I feel a lot better. But I would be curious to know what like fruits and veggies have fiber, because I'm sure it's not, not all fruits and veggies are equal when it comes to fiber. Or fruits probably don't have that much fiber in general, probably more so vegetables. But
would you be opposed to like chickpeas or quinoa? Out grains.
So like legumes.
Are you trying to be gluten-free?
Yes.
Because I can send you gluten-free options.
So grains, I try not to eat any grains. I eat some oats because I'll have like different like granola bars, or I have like some whole oats that I'll make like homemade granola bars with peanut butter. So not many grains, like legumes. I still eat some legumes. I guess that was it. Yes. So yeah, some of that, yes. Just generally I don't do any grains except for oats.
Okay. Yeah, there's a whole page that I can send you on just gluten-free, like high fiber foods.
What are some vegetables that have a lot of fiber? Because I want to beat Toby.
You can't beat me, son.
I've beaten you before, and I'll beat you again, Toby.
You're right. You have beaten me before. You're right on that part.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be vegetables.
It has to be vegetables because I like vegetables. So
Okay. I mean,
off the top of your head, ring them out.
I know spinach is one.
I love spinach.
Did
I not write that in? Oh, I eat that like a lot.
Yeah, I saw that you had like was that in your eggs? Do you put spinach in your eggs?
No, not usually. So a lot of times I'll just take a handful of it out of the bag and just eat it raw.
No, you really? Christian, you're insane, man.
No. Like I'll have like my plate of like, my meat and my whatever stuff, and I'll just get like a little handful of little baby spinach from the bag and just throw it in the plate and eat it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, beans, I know you said like,
Why is that so wrong?
It's not wrong. You're just a hard man.
I'm not, dude. It's just, I don't know. I don't know who I am.
There's pinto beans has 15 grams for 1 cup. You could do soybeans or edamame.
No, I won't do that.
They're high, 11 grams.
Do peppers have a lot? They kind of look fibrous.
Squash has a lot.
We'll have some squash right now. I bought some acorn squash.
Greens. Those are some of the bigger ones. Broccoli actually has a lot. I saw Toby had that on his.
Hey, I wrote broccoli too.
I've been eating a lot of broccoli recently.
I only saw, hold on.
Oh, it's there. I put it. I remember it.
Christian, you don't have to defend yourself. You're so self-conscious right now. It's fine.
I'm gonna win, man.
I just eat more fiber than you right now. It's okay. It was just a 3-day stint.
Not for long.
I think the difference was Christian only had 3 ounces of broccoli.
That was a guess.
Okay, you probably have more than that then.
I had less.
I think I had more.
It's not a competition, Christian.
It is now.
If it was, I would have won, but
You've done it.
Carrots have 5 grams in 1 cup.
I'm not a fan of carrots.
I love carrot.
Thanks, Will.
Carrots are good for your eyes, man.
I just feel like they're
Not true.
they're like
I know. Shut up. Let
nutrients.
me have that one. I know it's a myth, but it's what I grew up knowing. I love carrots.
I just feel like there's not a whole lot of real nutrients in carrots.
Well,
Know the origins of that myth?
There's fiber in carrots. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, but like I would prefer to have fibrous stuff with other micronutrients rather than just fiber. But I mean, eating carrots is healthier than eating like potato chips, probably. So
A banana has 3.
ooh, eat a lot of nanners.
big nanner guy.
I'm surprised I haven't gotten sick of it.
Cauliflower. Do y'all like cauliflower?
I hate cauliflower.
I eat it sometimes. I actually have some in my fridge right now. I'm gonna bake it same way I
It's
did
just
the
flavorless
broccoli.
and dumb. I don't like it.
Christian, I'm gonna send you my recipe for baked broccoli and cauliflower. I kind of did. Have you seen like the smashed Brussels sprouts or smashed potato recipes recently?
No.
Okay. Basically, you boil stuff for a little bit, and then you boil it until it's a little bit soft, and then you like kind of squish it down on a plate, and you put like olive oil and spices on it, and you bake it until it's like a little bit crispy. So you squish it so that it's flatter, so it gets crispier better.
So you're making your own potato chip, pretty much.
It's almost like that. It's like halfway between a potato chip and a baked potato,
Okay.
but closer to potato chip. Because I tried making my own potato chips, but it didn't work out well. because you have to have them too spaced out, and it just takes too much space to make a chip. But where's it going with that? Anyway, yeah, so like smash stuff. So I do that with broccoli, and I'm gonna try with cauliflower this week. But yeah, you just boil it for a little bit. You toss it in olive oil and spices. Then you like kind of press it down so it's a little flat, and you like bake the crap out of it at high heat, so it's like a little crispy around the edges, and it's super good. Super good. Use it with whatever spices you like. So I do garlic powder and salt and pepper. That's my main thing. Sometimes I use like Tony Chachere's on there, and that's good. But you can use whatever you like.
All right, you convinced me.
Yeah, it's really good. Like Brussels sprouts. So the easiest thing to do it with is Brussels sprouts and the little like Yukon potatoes, because they're smaller and have like more similar sizes. Those are the easiest to do it with. But I just buy like the bags of russet potatoes because it's cheaper, and I just like cube up the potatoes so they're more of like a uniform size, and then blanch them, squish them, and bake them.
Brussels sprouts are on there for fiber. They're 3 grams per cup.
Ooh, I like Brussels sprouts. They're kind of expensive though. Cauliflower and broccoli is much cheaper.
But yeah, does that answer your question? Said Cameron.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whoops, Christian.
Get out.
That's rough. That is rough.
I'm not asking.
Oof.
I'm sorry.
That's good. That's good to know. Christian, quit being so dramatic. He's a hard man when it comes to most things, but
I'm just kidding. I don't even know who Cameron is.
Well, that's pretty insulting to him.
No, who? There's thousands of probably millions of Camerons. I don't know who we're talking about.
Yeah, maybe more.
There might be more than that.
Yeah, I mean, there's 7 billion people in the world.
I think we just hit 8 billion not long ago.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think I remember seeing that.
Subscribers?
No, we have like 20 subscribers, which is actually pretty good. I'm actually really happy with the amount of views that we get and subscribers that we have. Speaking of subscribers and views and stuff.
Oh, my mom sent us an email.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to bring it up. I really appreciated that. Yeah,
Awesome.
Good old Nancy, our #1 fan. She sent us a couple ideas for what's that? Okay, she sent us a couple ideas for names for the podcast because we've been trying to come up with a better name than TNC. So her 2 ideas were slightly offensive and profound thoughts with a side of snark. That's a little bit of a mouthful. I really like the slightly offensive one. I'm a big fan of that because it's nice and short and also true. I don't think we're super offensive, but we do say some things that are.
We have some edgy stuff.
We're super edgy, bro. Super edgy, super hipster.
Yeah.
I think Will has some ideas.
Will, come tell us.
Knowledge dump.
Knowledge dump. I like that. I like that play on words.
Well, it would. Oh, I get it. It would take knowledge to do it, though. So we don't really have a lot of that.
We don't have a lot of knowledge, so it's a little bit problematic. I do like the play on words.
I do think that y'all are looking for your, like you're looking for people that can share knowledge, and you guys ask questions, and you guys have a lot of knowledge. So.
Well, thanks, Audrey.
I don't know if I'd say that, but thank you.
And also the other part, says Will.
The dump part. I mean, that's the better half of it, obviously. Big old dump.
Dumpy.
What else? Does Will have anything else?
That's the best I got.
Oh,
that's good. I'll take it, man.
On his list.
What's that?
You got the #1 first.
Oh, okay. No, that's a good one. That's a good one for sure. That's up there. Top five ideas for sure.
I like this.
Oh, Cameron Ellis. That guy. I remember that guy. All right. Sorry, it just came to me. My bad.
Oh.
I just realized what Cameron you were talking about, probably.
Cameron would be really offended. I don't think he has the attention span to listen to these though, so he's probably not going to watch this.
Oh, it's his loss.
What if he did? Then he's gonna be like, why?
Did he really hurt?
Yeah.
What's that?
What's up?
Wilson.
All right, gang. What do you say?
What did you say, Will?
I don't know.
You forgot.
All right.
You have to
Cameron's
listen.
one of our friends who I honestly would not have on the podcast, and I've thought about this a lot. We will not have him on the podcast, Christian.
Who?
Cameron.
Oh,
Just because he's too much of a DH.
a dumb whore?
Yeah, he brings out the worst and like the meaningless and empty conversation. That's really funny and enjoyable at the time, but not good for a podcast. You and I already have a bit of that going on, so having him on here be much worse.
Well, tell us how you really feel, man.
I just did.
I'd like to hear some more of it.
I
I
fucking
kind of
hate
like
him. Just kidding.
I kind of like it when you vent to me. It's kind of fun. You
No,
know?
I love Cameron. He's one of my best friends, but
Oh, good.
wouldn't want him on the podcast.
Yeah. So it's starting to come back to me about who he is.
I don't think he'd have a lot of good stuff to talk about either. Like Audrey has a lot of really good insight because
He
we
probably
talk
just talked
about
wasn't he a big
poops and
music
health
guy?
things.
He's
What's
a big
that?
music guy, right?
He's a what?
Big music guy, huh?
Yeah, he
All
does a
right.
lot of live music stuff.
Oh. All right.
What was that reaction for? I think it's cool that he still plays live music.
Cool.
He used to be so bad at singing, so bad, and now he'll do like a live music gig by himself. It's crazy how far he's come.
Come.
Oh, Christian.
Hat say, Christian.
What?
What's your hat say?
Oh, my hat just says Night Force. It's a brand of a company.
It's kind of like the Space Force. We were talking about this earlier before you joined the call. It's kind of like the Space Force, but it's only at night.
Yeah. We only come out at night. You know what I mean?
Night Force.
Yeah.
I still haven't met anyone from the Space Force yet, which I'm pretty bummed out about. I thought I was going to meet some of them since I'm in the DC area, but I have not. I'm also very introverted, so that's probably part of the problem.
Yeah, that has something to do with
I
it.
don't go out very much.
That's good, man. Nothing good happens out there most of the time.
Well, some say.
What do you think they're gonna come like knock on your door like Jehovah's Witnesses?
Well, yeah,
Heard of that?
obviously.
Space Force.
I thought that's exactly what they were going to do to proselytize their
They will.
mission. Space Force, establishing space dominance and protecting space assets.
You've practiced that in the
Hey,
mirror
what?
before, haven't you?
Yeah,
You should transfer to the Space Force.
I actually thought about it, but it'd just be another dumb staff job. And all I do is dumb staff job stuff. That's what
I'll
I've
give you
done for 5 out of the 5.5 years I've been in the Army. So I don't want to do that anymore.
That's fair.
You'll get a lightsaber instead of just like a ceremony.
I don't think they issue lightsabers to very many people.
That is really disappointing. What are we paying all these taxes for?
That's
That's a
what I'm
good.
saying.
That's a good question. I do have a ceremonial saber because of the unit I'm in. I think I have to give it back though, which is a bummer. I may just keep it.
You know, Toby, speaking of taxes, thanks, Will. Toby, I thought of a way to get more out of our tax money.
Okay.
And it's a little left field. It's a little out there, but hear me out, right?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Here's what we do. We go to a big city, right?
Okay. Big city.
And we gather all of the homeless, or no, not the homeless. We gather all of the drug addicts, like the guys who are just meandering the street talking to themselves, those guys. You know what I mean?
Okay.
There's quite a few depending on the city you go to. And we give them a buckload of Adderall and a pickaxe, and we say the city's hiding gold under the streets. They go tear up the streets, we get new streets. Tax dollars.
But where do you had? There's so many problems with this. You texted to me this.
No issue.
You texted this to me the other day, and I didn't
Did I?
address it then.
Okay,
because
good.
I thought there's
I just
too
wanted
much
you to
to
know.
address
Yeah.
here.
Multiple times.
Go to
No.
it. That'd be funny.
Audrey, go ahead and work this out with Christian. I really have to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. Good
There's
luck.
nothing to work out. It's a full.
I don't even know where to start.
You didn't expect it, did you?
No,
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. That's what we need.
that's not what we need. That's not what we need.
What-
What if you just said, you know what? Like you talk to the right people in Washington. You're just like, listen, if you don't do this, then our streets are going to get really bad. And then no one's going to want to come for tourism. And then there you go.
Well, see, it's the right people in Washington are the ones who are squandering the tax dollars. So really, they're not going to care regardless.
Yeah.
You know,
What if you could cut them a deal? Like, hey, we'll vote for you again. I don't know. You get a bandwagon.
no, I'm going to stick to the Adderall and the pickaxe idea.
I don't know if that's safe for humanity.
That's fine. It doesn't have to be for all of humanity. Just a select few. A few martyrs are
Oh,
required for some new roads.
So where are we talking? Where are these new roads going to be?
We could start with Los Angeles or New York City or something. I don't know.
just-
Bunch of shitty roads.
I just don't see. I don't see that happening.
I'm a man of vision. All right, I've got a good vision.
See that.
If it takes a few martyrs to get what I need done, I'm okay with that. You know.
Oh no.
Christian, you are literally insane, clinically speaking. I spoke to a doctor today,
Did you?
and they confirmed it.
Oh, really?
Nah, I'm just kidding. You're not insane. Well,
Can
maybe.
you imagine a funnier headline though? Dozens of homeless demolish a tree looking for gold.
I don't know. I think that's kind of funny, but not as funny as you think it is.
I think it's good.
All right, man. If
All
you
right.
want to do that, then do what
How
you
are
got to
you-
do. But I don't know if I can support you on this one.
All right. Well, I put up an idea. How are you going to get our tax dollars to actually come out of the pockets of the elite, huh, Toby? How are we going to get tax dollars working for us?
I don't see like how that connects to getting tax dollars to work for us, because that's just
Takes
going
money
to
to
cost
build
more
streets. You got a all right. Yeah, you're fair, but still, it's there. It's there and they're not using it for that.
money. I mean, I agree. If you want new roads, I do
Demolish
agree
them.
that that's a solid idea for a forcing function to get new roads.
So using drug addicts with Adderall and pickaxe is not such a bad idea, huh?
I mean, not a bad idea in the sense of effectiveness. If we're talking about the morality side, yes,
Yeah.
it's probably a bad idea.
You were the
But
one who was like-
effective, yes. I do think that would be effective. Yes.
Tom, you were the one just a few episodes ago saying we maintain a certain level of moral flexibility. You were the one agreeing with me on that. Yeah, you're right, you do.
That
This is
was
flexibility.
talking about just things that we would say on the podcast. That wasn't talking about destroying roads and causing a ton of money and a large burden to the taxpayer.
Well, if you're going to talk about it, you got to be about it. You know what I mean?
We were talking about butt wipes, Christian. That was the main thing we were talking about. It's a little
Right.
different.
But we've evolved a little bit. We've got like 22 subscribers now, so
You're a madman.
we've got a pretty good standing in the internet, I think.
Kind of a big deal. We're not as famous as Audrey, though. For those who don't know, Audrey, I'll put your Instagram handle and stuff in the caption, but Audrey has reels on Instagram that have millions of views. Did you know
Really?
that, Christian? Yeah. The amplified
Oh.
OT.
All right. You need to put our link in that,
Okay.
please. Let me.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, that'd be great.
I think that actually be great. And if Audrey,
Okay.
you're welcome to like plug any of your stuff. Like I said, I'll put your Instagram handle in our description so people can come check it
Holy
out.
shit.
Christian, yeah, you got to look at her channel. There's one.
This
There's
is
one.
insane.
Audrey has some really funny reels about people asking or like thanking her for her service because they think that she's a veteran. They think that she was like blown up by IEDs or something.
So many times.
Oh my God. Were you in the
Multiple
war?
times a year. Multiple times.
Those are probably my favorite. Those are probably my
Hang on. There's one with 5.6 million views.
Yeah, I told you, millions of views.
That many people have seen you, Audrey. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, one of my favorites is definitely the one with your nephew bringing you your prosthesis. It's very cute.
Yeah.
Very cute.
Good grief.
So
I told you she's basically famous. Sorry, go ahead.
You should get the little blue check mark or something. Can you do that?
I think that's Twitter.
Yeah, you can get a blue check on Instagram. I just don't know
Maybe.
how.
All right.
You have to like do some verification process, and there's some like scams going around where they're like, get a blue check and pay so money. And yeah, anyway, I don't know how to do it, but you can do it.
This is obscene.
I know. I remember early on when Audrey started doing these reels, I was like, Audrey, you just need to like go do TikTok. Like, you're not going to get any views on Instagram. Like, TikTok's the way to do it. And Audrey's was like, well, actually, I have like 200,000 views on my last reel or something like that. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I was incorrect. Do not listen to what I said. I apologize. I was obviously wrong.
Yeah. I mean, Instagram's turned into something different. Like, it's now more videos, like, TikTok is.
Do you generate any revenue from that?
So it requires me to put my social and Instagram. I could have made $1,000 this year at least, but I didn't because I didn't want to put my social on Instagram. So
that's fair.
So technically I don't, but I could.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I asked you a while ago if you were interested in doing social media as like a full-time job, like trying to do outreach through social media or something, because obviously you've been pretty successful. Like Chris, you have that one reel that has like 5.5 million views or something. And you said no. You said you would not want to try to do something like that full-time.
It would have, yeah. I mean, like to make money to be full-time on Instagram, you have to post every day, multiple times a day.
Yeah.
So, and I just don't have that. I don't have that spark to do that,
Okay.
if I could find my little niche, where I'm just like, I only post about this type of stuff. Like there's some that are pelvic floor therapists on Instagram and TikTok, and they only make videos on that. But with OT, like I feel like it's so broad. And if I go like the amputee route, it's just a little too narrow, So
Okay.
like I'm struggling between like what do I actually want to make videos on?
Yeah.
And make that like my niche.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
because I know I don't want it to be just pelvic floor, and I don't want it to just be lymphedema or amputee. So
Well, do you have any other ideas for things that you'd like to post more about or create more awareness of?
I think it's just like most people will watch a video multiple times. If it's either funny or it shows you how to do something.
Yeah.
Like it's either one or the other. Anything else, people are just like, okay, I've already seen that type of stuff.
Okay. So you're trying to find more functional type stuff.
Yeah. Or a mix in between.
Okay.
Some funny, some people can actually use some advice.
Yeah.
So I kind of go between.
Yeah. You have a lot of funny stuff with people asking you about your service in the war.
Yeah, I actually made that video because yesterday someone asked.
Did they
And
really?
Yeah. And they didn't even ask me. They asked my coworker and was like, "Hey, I saw that," because we actually have two people at our clinic who, including me, who wear prosthetics, and this patient was like asking my coworker who doesn't have a prosthesis. He was like, "There's that one girl who's missing a leg, or has a fake leg. Did she serve in the war?" And
In the war.
in the war, yeah, it's always the war. And and she was like, "No," and she said, "Which one?" And he was like, "There's two of them." He was like, "The one without the limp." It's like, oh no.
That's funny.
And so now I'm like, do I have a limp? I don't know.
I don't think you do.
Anyways.
I mean, you like running stuff. You do athletic activities pretty regularly.
Yeah. If you're trained to notice it, you notice it. It's that type of thing. But I mean, I've been walking on it forever, and I have a fairly good way of hiding it.
Okay. Is that something you think about a lot? Hiding a limp?
No, I can notice it whenever I start to like walk like I need another sock. Because like with lymphedema or with swelling or with any type of like fluid moving, like in a prosthesis, my fluid fluctuates because of the pressure by just a little bit. Like it can only be 1 centimeter of a difference and it'll change like the whole thing. So like I need to add a sock midday sometimes to make it fit well at the end of the day.
Yeah. Could we back up a little bit, and could you talk more about yourself and your amputations you had when you were younger? Because it's like a lot of random like friends and family of me and Christian, so they probably don't know.
Yeah, we didn't even like.
Yeah, we didn't go through that at all.
Yeah, so I was born without my fibula, and well, okay, so I don't know if I'm born completely without it or partially with it, and I was also born with like partial ulna. So the fibula is the smaller supporting bone in your leg, and then the ulna is the smaller supporting bone of your forearm.
Mm-hmm.
So I was born with 2 fingers on my hand, but really like webbed fingers, which were amputated. So now I have 2 fingers. And then my foot was amputated when I was 1. So I did have a foot when I was born, but I couldn't really walk on it. Like I could hold on to furniture and walk. And that's one of the videos that blew up, was like, I guess 4 million views, which was like my parents had to decide whether I would be in braces for 12 years or have an amputation of my foot. And everyone went crazy about that video because they thought they meant like I meant braces.
Either we fix her teeth or we cut off her foot. These are your options.
There's only 2. Yeah, anyway, so they all thought that it was like braces on your teeth. And I was like, no, braces on my legs. But really it would have been like external fixator, like intense pins and needles through my bones to help lengthen the bones. And so the doctors were like, yeah, like my fibula, just because it wasn't long enough, I guess. Like some kids are born with their fibula more fully formed, I guess, but not quite, but they can go through that surgery fairly more easily. But they basically like just said that amputation would probably be the best option. And so I think it has been, because I haven't really been able to find anything that I couldn't do yet, except for monkey bars, which I could probably have done if I knew what I knew now when I was a kid. But
okay.
But yeah, so
did you have the the amputation of your foot, and then you also had like kind of a partial finger, right? And they removed that because that would allow you to grip things.
Yeah.
Did that happen at about the same time?
Yeah, they did that surgery, both surgeries at the same time.
Oh wow.
And you said you were like 3?
I was 1.
You're 1? That's wild.
Like 13 months. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't imagine being a parent and trying to make that decision. That's tough.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I've actually recently met a lady who now we're good friends with, but her son also was born with some brachydactyly, which is the technical term of what I was born with. And she was asking me about surgery because he has like they call them like more nubs when the finger's not fully formed, where it just be like small. And limbs form when you're really, really early on in development. I think it's like 7 weeks they start. So anyway, so she was asking me about the surgery and stuff. And when you're a kid, you just really, you learn as you go. And so if you learn without, it's way easier than trying to learn after you've had. So anyways, so that was a really, really cool moment. And that's most of why I keep making videos, is because like there's a lot of parents on Instagram that have kids who have limb differences. So it's been really cool to talk to them. And my mom actually did like a whole video series with me on like raising a kid with limb differences and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Nice. YouTube channel?
You
guys have a YouTube channel?
No, I thought about that, but
yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work to make like a whole video. I'm sure like Toby's gonna spend a lot of time on the editing, or you, Christian, whatever.
So we always say like we're gonna edit little stuff, and a lot of times in our videos like, oh yeah, we gotta edit that part out.
Yeah.
And I rarely do, just because it's too much work. It is a lot of work. But like the setup, and like I have to convert, like I download this file and I convert it to an audio file, and there's a few steps that go along with doing this recording and converting the file to a usable format and then posting it to YouTube. And then now we have like an actual podcast platform. So we'll upload it to Anchor, which will let it be uploaded to Spotify, and then maybe other stuff in the future. But yeah, it's, even if you do like minimal editing, it's still a lot of work. So it's a lot more than I thought. So if you're working a full-time job, which you are, and Christian and I are, obviously, yeah, it's a lot of work. So I get it.
So Toby, I'm about to have a lot of time on my hands, at least a couple months. So I'm gonna start doing the stuff to go on the interwebs.
Perfect.
Yeah. Just FYI, you might have to teach me some things. I
just like learned it on the go, and I get very angry old man. Like I was never more aware of my age than when I've been recently trying to learn this stuff, because I can't figure something out immediately, and I get so angry and I start like cussing. It's like, why can't I figure this out? And it's like, wow, I'm an old man. This is what an old man would do. But anyway, it may seem like I know more things than you. I probably know 2 more things than you, and like that's it. So
about YouTube.
yeah.
Anyway.
But
Pretty
anyway,
easy.
back to you though, Audrey. That's cool.
Oh. Yeah. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah. I mean, it's still fun though. Like it's cool that, so many people are seeing your reels. I mean, you're having a real impact. Like a lot of people are seeing those. So I know that's what you wanted. So it's cool that you're able to do that. Christian and I mostly just do this for fun. We have like 100, or we had one video that had 250 views or something, but that's not 5.5 million.
I think we're almost at 300 views on one of them.
You're right. We're basically as famous as Audrey. Basically, Audrey, this was just a ploy to get your viewers. That's the only reason. That's why we have you on here. We're trying to use your fame.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I don't feel like I'm not definitely not famous. There's just a few people that watch videos.
So how many people come up asking for autographs?
Never.
Really?
No, it's just the people that ask or say thank you for your service. That's all I get.
Oh, all right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Toby gets that a lot.
Like, I'm sure we all get the same comments. It's
mostly Toby though, I think.
It's super awkward. So actually this past week,
you probably like it.
Huh? Our dental clinic on post was just super backed up. So I got referred to an off post clinic, and they had issues with figuring out like how to connect to the insurance provider. So all of us on active duty, we have TRICARE, and I don't have like an insurance card like other people do. My military ID is the proof of insurance, and I have like a service identification number that goes with that. So that was the only thing I could give them. So it took them a while at the dental clinic to figure out how to use that to connect to TRICARE so that someone would pay for the stuff they did. And anyway, they kept like during the appointment, they kept like coming back and asking me questions. And I was like, I'm sorry. Like, I feel like I'm been a huge hassle to you guys. Like, I'm sorry that I've caused you so many problems. And the lady was like, no, like, oh my gosh, like all this stuff that you do for us. Like, oh no, like this is so easy. And yeah, you do so much for us. And like, again, thank you for your service. And I was like, I don't know if you know what I do, lady, but I work a desk job. Like, yeah, I do a lot of PowerPoints. Like I kind of just joke around and drink coffee at the office and make fun of people, talk crap about my boss on the podcast. Anyway, I didn't say that because it's too much work to try to like correct people. It's like, oh, like you're very kind. Like, thank you. That's what I usually say. It's like, oh, that's very nice of you to say. Thank you for your support. But I do feel bad a little bit.
You let them buy you a meal, don't you?
I've never had anyone buy me a meal. No.
Yeah. All right.
No, actually, I did have someone buy me a meal one time. A group of us went out when we were cadets.
Oh,
the Doodles. We weren't even really in the service, but we went out. I don't remember what it was for, but a bunch of us went out, and this guy paid for our meal. And
that's disgusting.
I don't even remember how it happened, to be honest, but I think we found out like as we were leaving that he paid for our meal, and a few of us wanted to go up to him and like refuse and tell the waiter or whatever to cancel the payment or something. But one of the guys talked us out of it. He's like, no, like he like, you know, people like doing that stuff. So that's the only time that's happened to me. But I know that people like doing that because doing that makes them feel good. And if you refuse that, then it would be kind of awkward. And anyway, I don't like people being all weird about thanking me for my service because I really haven't done anything. Like, I mean, I've been in some crappy places longer than I wanted, but I don't know. People kind of idolize the service, and I think that's very problematic.
Well, I also think that we have a history of people almost hated the people that came back from like Vietnam and other war, like
yeah,
where there's like two extremes there, and you know, like
yeah. Well, yeah, it's you're right. It's a weird shift. Like the Vietnam area, all these people hated service members and like would spit on you and call you a baby killer. Actually, one guy that I work with in the past few weeks, sometime recently, he said he had someone yell at him and call him a baby killer because he was out somewhere, like either coming to work or leaving work, and he stopped at a store or something, and someone yelled at him and called him a baby killer. And I was like, people still do that? I thought that was like, that only happened 60 years ago. But anyway, yeah, you're right. It's an interesting change. Like the post 9/11, the global war on terror era is very much like patriotic. Like you actively prevent stuff like 9/11 happening again, which is not necessarily true.
Not true at all.
Most service members, it's just it's a cross section of America. So I think most people would agree. The average American, probably not that good of a person. There's a lot of crappy people in America. There's a lot of crappy people in the military too. And some of them it's good because it's like, you know what? You seem like you'd be really good at killing people. And you're in a job where that's the kind of person that I'd want on my side. So, but anyway, it's interesting. Wild times.
Mm-hmm.
That shift is very interesting.
Yeah, I do like my job now though. We have a locker room adjacent to my office. So I leave my uniform there. So I don't have to wear it to and from work. I just change once I'm there. So I don't have to like talk to people while I'm in my uniform, except when I'm at work, which is good. So I get less like randos coming up to me trying to talk to me. It's amazing how many people, when they know you're in the military, they want to come up to you and tell you about how they were almost in the military. That is probably the worst thing. You're like, oh yeah, I almost joined, but then like I had this thing. It's like I honestly don't care. Like I chose this as a job, and like no one cares. Don't. So if you're listening, don't do that to people. Don't tell people how you almost joined. It's crazy.
I almost joined just so. Just kidding.
It's funny that you say that because I wanted to, but then my mom got sick, and I've had like 30-minute conversations, Audrey. It's pretty rough.
Yeah, that is. I mean, like I can sympathize though. I mean,
you can because you've had so many people come up to you and thank you for your service.
They ask me, yeah, thank you, or they say thank you.
Yeah.
Or just start casual conversation about what's wrong with me. So there's that.
Does that bother you when people come and like ask you what's wrong with you?
I mean, it's mostly like the way that they word things.
Yeah.
I mean, some people don't know, like, like, would you ever ask someone if you're just like casually walking by them on the street, like, hey, what's wrong with you?
Yo, you got 3 less fingers on your hand there. What's going on? No, I don't think I would. I can't imagine any scenario where I would approach a stranger. If I had like recently met someone and I was like really feeling confident at the time, I may ask them about it, but probably not in the way that like I hear you talk about what people say to you. But yeah, it's too funny.
That's why, like, I had this thought this week too, is a lot of people will ask like whenever you get a cut or something, and some people say like, what did you do? Not like you tried to injure yourself, which I just hate the way that's. They
like assume you made a mistake that led to that.
Like, what did you do? Instead, like, happened is probably a better way to say that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, people are dumb. That's for sure.
So I always.
Right. You were right. Sorry, I'm trying to find a video to send to you guys.
Oh, okay.
It's very important that you guys see this.
You can share content at the bot, like you can share it from your phone.
Well, you ain't got to yell at me.
The host can share.
Sit down. Don't hurt me.
Oh. So I went to high school with a guy. I think his name was Daniel. I can't remember for sure, but he was in my grade, and I don't know if he had some type of amputation or if he was born exactly the way that he was, but he had his arm only extended like a few inches past his elbow, and he had a couple like little nubs that like would have been the fingers, but like I don't think there's any bones, like, you know what I mean? Like it kind of just looked like a little skin kind of hanging off. But I remember him talking about people would come up to him, and I'm pretty sure that people asked him if he was in the war, like while he was in high school. Like he's obviously like a teenager, and people like think that he's a veteran, but
well, depending on what country you live in, that could be a valid question.
That could be true. But I remember one time he played football for a year or two, and I did. So we were kind of friends for a little bit. But I was more friends with this other guy that he was friends with. So more like we had mutual friends. But anyway, he invited me to go out fishing with him. And I think it was just 3 of us in the guide. And the guide was like asking him like about what happened to his arm, and he was like, yeah, like shark attack, having a shark attack when I was a kid. And it was hilarious because the guide for a while thought he was serious, because in like Pensacola or Gulf Shores or somewhere like in that area, there was a shark attack like 15 years, whatever, like around the time when he would have been a kid. So like the timing lined up where the kid that was attacked like would have been the same age. So, and he had found out about that. So he just totally leaned into that fact. He's like, yeah, I was that guy, man. You remember hearing about that kid in the news that was attacked by a shark? I was that guy. But anyway, he told the guy it was a joke after a minute. He didn't keep it going very long, but it was funny. He was chill about it. I mean, I feel like you gotta be relaxed about it to not go crazy. So, but like the fishing guide, he wasn't weird about it. Like he asked in a respectful way. I don't remember how he broached it, but it wasn't like a weird, uncomfortable way like I've heard you talk about before.
Yeah, I can remember the first time someone thanked me for my service or asked if I was in the war. Like it was when I was picking up keys to our first house. And I was wearing a red dress with flowers on it. And the guy was like, "Did you serve in the war?" And I was like, "Does it look like I served in the war?"
Do you think female soldiers don't wear dresses? Do you think they're not effeminate? What are you trying to say? Do you think they're all like a bunch of like super masculine lesbians?
That's
No,
racist, bro.
No, but I mean, it definitely didn't look like this 19 to 21-year-old woman like had served like in this dress that obviously like looked like I was younger.
I gotcha.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a funny thing that people ask me about sometimes. It's like, yeah, like are the women in the military all like super butch and just like all lesbians?
Oh,
it's like no. It's like your average woman, but like more physically fit on average. And like that's about like healthier and more physically fit than the average American, but otherwise like
that's
pretty
not
normal. Yeah, but like otherwise like relatively normal people. I've had so many people ask me about that. Actually, they're like, yeah, I bet they're like all lesbians. And it's like, why would you bet that? Why would you think that? They're regular people. Like there's so many jobs in the military. You're not all like shooting at people.
I mean, why can't a woman do that?
Well, I mean, a woman can. And I trained with officers they could do everything that the average man could for sure.
Yeah.
Not stand and pee though.
What's that? Well, they could with that little device that we were talking about earlier.
Could, but you'd probably have to take off your pants for that one.
Not with that device we were talking about earlier. They wouldn't have to.
I mean, I've never used it, so that would be pretty neat.
Nice.
Anyway,
I can't find the video and I'm sad.
Okay.
what video were you looking for?
Well, it was just one but showing that I eat raw spinach just for funsies.
You've made a video about you eating.
Yeah, it was just Snapchat. I think I sent it to Toby at some point.
For sure, neither of us thought you were lying about.
I know, but I just wanted to find it. Well, see, it's not that. I just wanted to find it because it was funny, Toby.
Don't you have spinach in your refrigerator you can go get?
Not right now.
Oh, well, you could show all of us if you had some.
That would make us believe you for sure. Now I think you're a liar.
Yeah, I'm not sure now because you had to back yourself up.
Next episode.
You spent a lot of time like trying to cover your trail here. Originally, I believed you, but now I'm straying away from that.
I'm gonna get a bag of spinach for our next one.
All right, Popeye.
Toot toot.
Man,
It's cold.
it's probably because you're sitting outside.
Yeah.
We're supposed to finally get some snow this week out where I am in Virginia. I'm pretty excited about that.
I think we're getting some next week too.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Audrey, you guys still live in Mobile?
Yeah, we're supposed to get some Christmas Eve.
Oh, really? Think you're gonna get a little snow?
Right now, we're supposed to.
What?
That's cool.
Yeah,
Fancy.
gonna be a white Christmas, maybe.
That's racist.
Probably not.
That's pretty racist.
I hope so. We just got our fireplace fixed. I'm ready for snow.
Nice. That'll be cool.
You live in the wrong part of the country for snow. I hope you know that.
Well, I grew up in Texas, and so I've seen real snow before.
She saw snow when she was in the war, Christian. She was up in the mountains
Yeah,
back in the war.
back in the war.
The war, the only war.
Though just the war. The war, the global war on terror. GWAT.
Boy,
At least-
boy, that was a scam, wasn't it?
You know, they don't give away that service ribbon anymore.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So yeah, from like post 9/11 until relatively recently, you used to get a service ribbon, which is like an award for volunteering during a time of war. And it was the like global war on terror ribbon, because George W. Bush declared a global war on terror after 9/11, which is great. They really followed like the SMART goal guidelines.
And then
Yeah.
what was it? 2000.
We're just gonna fight terror until we win. But yeah, they stopped giving that out recently. So if you enlist now or join the military, you don't get that anymore. Because I guess we're not in a war. It's a weird time. We're in like a limited engagement type deal. We're not in a conventional war anywhere, but we do have like limited kind of engagements in certain places in Africa and the Middle East. So it's an interesting time.
So y'all use the SMART goal
I
format?
mean, I try to, because I feel like that's what, if you're not an idiot, I feel like you should try to use that when you set goals. So when you say like, we're going to fight terror and we're going to declare a war on terrorism, which implies that you're not going to stop until you defeat all terrorism. That seems like an idiotic idea to me, because how do you stop all, like you need like measurable and attainable goals, which is the M and the A. But I don't want to be too critical of people in the past. Hindsight's 2020, obviously.
Mhm.
That's fair.
We're in 2022.
That is correct. Yes.
Almost 2023.
Hindsight's 2022.
Yeah.
Classic GWAT. What else? Audrey, did you have any other stuff you want to talk about while you were on the podcast here?
I was going to show you how to do a massage if you are encountering constipation.
I would like to see that.
Okay. So you'd have to go right over your skin, but obviously we're not going to do that. But you start on the left side, because that's where your bowels end. So you're starting like the top of your hip and then going down towards your groin. And so it's like a triangle here and then there. So
Okay.
start on the left side of the triangle going towards your groin 5 times. And it's like fairly deep. So 5 times there, and then you're going across from right to left. I don't know if this is reverse for people or not, but it's right to left. So like right above your belly button is where that would fall.
Okay.
Right to left. You can do this while you're sitting on the toilet if you're having problems. Okay. And then, so we're still talking about that triangle there. You're going up on the right side from like groin to the top of your right hip.
Okay.
That's 5 times. And then you do the reverse of all of those steps. So up on the right, over and down.
Interesting.
Right, over, and then down on the left.
My initial
Mom
thoughts.
showed me that a couple years ago.
My initial thoughts are that I have too much of a fat belly for that to be effective.
That's why you just push harder.
No, do not strain.
You might be right.
Anyways, that's a great way to do it. If you're having problems with constipation, you can do like
Coffee and water.
squatty potty, leaning forward and backwards. You can rock forward, backward, or side to side, or you could even do circles, and that helps.
I do the leaning forward thing when I'm pooping at the office because I get such a higher toilet, like my body isn't at the right angle. So I do the leaning forward, and I notice that feels better.
Yeah.
Anyway, I really have to pee again. I'll be right back. You guys keep going. Keep talking again.
My computer's about to die. I can't keep going, Toby.
Yeah, you can. You'll be fine.
No, I'm on like 5%, dude.
Quit being a baby.
It's not me being a baby. It's my computer's battery not wanting to.
A battery charger?
Well, I'd have to go back inside.
Oh. Where are you now, Christian? Can you say?
Yeah, I live in Clarksville, Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'll be moving to Birmingham in 3 weeks.
Wow. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I'm about to be out of the Army.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'm excited. What?
I said, are you excited?
I am pumped.
Yeah.
It'll be nice. You can see I'm already working on the long hair, so.
Start there.
Got to start somewhere, you know?
Yeah. Are you going to grow out like your beard and stuff too?
No, I'm just going to keep the stash. Well, but I'm going to let it go a little bit longer, you know?
Yeah, you should see Will's beard. Will.
It looks good.
No shave November. I mean, or don't shave December. Whatever they say.
Or just be a man and do what you want. You look good, buddy.
Yeah, he looks good. Look at him. What a handsome man.
Yeah, I'm almost done. And I'm real excited.
So Birmingham.
Yeah. Yes, Birmingham. It's
Why Birmingham?
Huh?
Why Birmingham?
Well, my girlfriend lives here. We both love the area.
Mm-hmm.
We've been together for 14 months or something. So it just seemed like the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So still close to home.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a even distance.
Yeah, it's only like 3.5 hours, maybe 4 hours from home.
Mm-hmm.
So it's there's a good buffer between here and the chaos of home.
Yeah.
Toby gets what I'm saying.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
I hear you too.
I hear you.
I hear you pretty well.
I feel like I don't want to live. I mean, I'm gonna be close, obviously, because I'm planning on moving to Pensacola. So that's basically just East Mobile. But just the idea of like being around so many people from when you were younger. I don't know. I feel like it's necessary for your growth to be away from people that you knew.
Oh yeah.
When you were younger. Not so much people in college, but like people that you went to elementary school and high school with. Mm-hmm. That like only know you from that time, you know? Like it's weird the idea of like going back to that because I feel like I'm stepping backwards in a way in my personal development.
But those people have changed too, so that's hard to.
Well, some have not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't talk to many of them, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't relate because I don't know very many people at all from that time of my life. So
what?
I mean, not.
There's nothing wrong with that.
So I don't feel like I know anyone in Mobile really, besides Will and his family and people from college. So
I do miss people from college, and I wish I lived closer to family for sure. There's something really special about being able to be close to your family, you know? show those moments. I had a dream the other night. It's actually just a couple of nights ago. I was just like hanging out with like all my cousins and we were like having a meal together. And then I woke up and I was like, why would I wake up right now? That was such a good dream. And like we weren't doing anything in particular. Like we were just hanging out, talking, having a meal. It was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all my family lives far away from where I am and my parents though. So
Can't live with them. Can't live without them.
well, you could live with them. You did for 18 years, most people.
Shut up, Toby.
Don't hate me because I'm right.
I hate you because you're a jackass.
All right, good.
Yeah.
I was about to follow it up with hate me because of my personality.
All right.
Oh man, we had a couple dudes, a couple guys in our office are leaving relatively soon, and we had a couple going away gifts for them, and we like all signed with like a little note. And for one of the guys, I said, "You're a weird guy." Tom. Anyway, he read that and he laughed so hard. He's like, that's, I don't know, like I thought it was funny. I didn't think that he was going to think it was that funny. So I was really glad that he got that much of a laugh out of it. See, you're a weird guy. Which he is. I wanted to tell him that for a while. So yeah.
You could have just told him that.
Well, I did.
Like, you didn't have to wait.
Well, I didn't wait. I told him. I wrote it on the.
You said you had been wanting to tell that guy for a while now.
Yeah. Well, like I forget about it. Like I wouldn't think about it until later on.
Clearly, it's not that important to you. And she's gone.
Why are you the way that you are?
Partially because of your influence on me as we were developing as young children.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit. Probably a little bit.
Yeah, probably that, and plus the traumatic brain injury you received through various sources.
Nah,
it's probably fine.
Yeah.
TBI, no big deal. Oh, what you got there?
What is that? You gonna share?
It's zucchini bread.
Zucchini bread.
All right, I lost interest.
That sounds good. Is that similar to pumpkin bread?
It's like coffee cake.
Like banana bread.
It's like banana bread only.
Oh
without.
yeah, I'm all about it.
I'm good.
That looks good.
All right, well, I'm not gonna lie to you, Tom. I'm cold and I'm tired, so I'm probably gonna leave.
All right, man. Well, just like tell me you hate me, whatever.
Well, I don't.
That's all right. We can go ahead and wrap this one up. We've been going for about 2 hours. This was a good podcast. I mean, I have a lot of other things I want to talk about, but we can do another one in the future.
It's clear Audrey was getting hungry and sick of your bullshit, Tom. So
I think it's more so you that's getting sick of my bullshit. So
no, I will never.
For our YouTube videos, we have to mark explicit or not explicit.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna go ahead and mark explicit for all of them, because I feel like we swear in all these. And going into this one, I was like, you know what? I just want to be able to do a video where I don't have to mark explicit on it. So I should try to not swear. So, especially like Audrey, she's such a nice lady, very kind, very polite. Obviously, she sacrificed for our nation. She doesn't need to be exposed to these profanities. But when you and I both.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking stupid for you to assume we could go a whole episode without saying a bad word.
You're right, man. That was pretty fucking dumb. When you post a YouTube video, you have to mark whether or not it's explicit.
You just said that.
I was about to add something. Do you fucking mind? You also have to add whether or not it's for children and whether or not children are in the video, which is kind of weird.
All right, that's weird.
Very.
Well, this seems like a good place. Audrey, do you have anything else do you want to add to our viewers?
Closing thoughts?
Yeah, any closing thoughts? Anything you want to say? Like I said, we'll put your info in the bio to the video so that people can look you up.
I guess the main points are: go to the bathroom every 2 to 4 hours. Don't go any earlier. Don't hold it any later. Don't hover. And those are my final thoughts.
And don't be weird about people who have limb differences.
Don't be weird.
Don't
assume
assume.
they were in the war.
Yeah. The war.
War.
Were you in the war?
Seymour.
That makes me laugh so much. All right. Thank you to all of our listeners. We appreciate you, especially Nancy, our #1 fan.
Mom, you're the best.
You're the best. All right. I'm shutting it down. Bye.
Bye.